Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Paulina. So in this video I want to talk about the cost of living in Spain in 2021. So let's go ahead and discuss the current prices for rent, food and gas and everything in 2021. So I have my notes here and I will literally go into my bank account and check like what I spend literally every week for food and for rent and for electricity and like other expenses. So let's dive into that. Now, of course, the cost of living in Spain is gonna be very different for different regions, different towns. Big cities are generally more expensive. Madrid and Barcelona are like some of the most expensive cities to live in probably. But also some of the like more luxury touristic places can be very expensive as well, even though they're small towns. So always check in advance where you're going, where you prefer to live. Further from the coast it's usually cheaper, and on the coast it's always more expensive when it comes to rent, for example. And of course the cost of living is gonna depend a lot on your normal level of life. For some people it's enough to rent a room, for others it's necessary to have a big apartment, go eat outside as much as possible, and so on and so on. Obviously it's going to be different, but I think my way of living is more or less average. I'm not rich, I'm not poor, so I think I'm somewhere in between. I worked in Spain, now I'm a freelancer, but before I used to work. My level of life was more or less proportionate to the salary, the Spanish salary that I was getting. So, but anyways, let's go one by one. So the first one is rent. So I live 14 minutes from Barcelona in a kind of a small town on the coast. So this town is not cheap, and it's probably the prices here are above average, I would say. So it's almost the same prices as in Barcelona, just because of this specific city. But yeah, for the apartment that I'm staying now, I'm paying 790 euros a month. So it's a one-bedroom apartment. I mean, it depends which country you're coming from. In Russia, we would call this two rooms apartments, because there is a living room here and there is another bedroom, like separate bedroom on the other side of the flat, and the kitchen. So this flat is quite modern and like renovated. Really nice. So yeah, 790 euros a month. I don't know if it's cheap or expensive, that's for you to judge. It's how it is. So I would say that for a similar apartment, the price in different parts of Spain could be from 600 to 800 or 900 euros per month. But let's check. I'm just gonna go ahead and find a website with rentals for long term, and I will just check a random city, not in Catalonia, not around here, to see how are more or less prices there, and if I'm right to say that it's from 600 more or less for a similar apartment. So for example, let's go to Alicante rents. So yeah, 2 rooms, 850. Some are actually like 3 rooms apartment for 500 euros. Very ugly, but 3 rooms for 500 euros. So it is pretty cheap. It's a lot of difference from Catalan, from this part of Spain where I am. 650 for 1 room. Yeah, so I think I'm more or less right to say that the modern flat with like 1 room, 2 rooms is gonna be around 600-800 euros per month. Next, there are expenses for electricity, gas, water, and I think that's it. Sometimes they also take extra for like the building service, the building fee or something like that. So I actually have my facturas here, so the invoices, and I'm just gonna like check it right here. So for electricity we pay once every 2 months. So for example, this one is for 90 euros for 66 days, so 2 months. Then I also have gas, which is in the month of normal month when I don't use heating, it's around 40 euros per month. But actually not everyone has gas, and I think even very few buildings have gas, so usually it's just electricity and water, and then electricity is much more expensive, because if you use also electricity for heating up the water and heating up, you know, the heaters, then it's more expensive. So in my previous flat I didn't have the gas, so I would pay for 2 months, in the months of winter, more than 100 euros for sure. So maybe from 100 to 150, depending on how much heating and how much water we used that month. Water, I actually don't pay for water here, but water is not really expensive. I'm gonna put here on the screen how much more or less for water you pay per month for one person. All of what I'm saying is for one person. Now of course, if you are sharing a flat like this, a pretty small flat, then it's gonna be cheaper rent, but the expenses are gonna be twice as much. Next one is food. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at my bank account to see how much literally I was paying every week in the supermarket. I go to a very typical supermarket, Mercadona, which is, I think, more or less like the cheapest of all supermarkets, and like it's really the most typical. It's in every city, and that's where I usually buy most of my groceries. I go to fruit shops separately every week, because I like to buy veggies and fruits in like more local shops. But the rest of the things I buy in Mercadona, and I go about once a week. So Mercadona, 42 euros, 20 euros, 25 euros, 23 euros. So I would say that in average it would be around 30 euros per week per person for me just to go to Mercadona, and then that excludes the fruit shop that I mentioned. And now I'm a small girl, so I don't really eat that much, but I like to, I buy a lot of fish, for example. Fish is more expensive than meat. Yeah, I try to buy better fruits and veggies. So I would say that per person, including the fruit shops that I go to, it would be around 30 or 40 euros per person per week for food. Now that doesn't include eating out, and I actually decided to take eating out as a separate category for cost of living in Spain, because eating out is huge in Spain. Now this year has been a little bit complicated because the restaurants have been open and closed, so there have been a little bit of a mess with that. But in general, eating out, huge in Spain. You're gonna go eat out every week. So that's why I decided to take it as a separate category. And I calculated really roughly, but if you, for example, go to take a coffee and a croissant, something small and typical, a couple of times a week or 2-3 times a week, and you actually eat out like a proper meal, for example, for lunch or dinner once per week, then that would be, I think, around 24 to 40 euros a week. That doesn't include like fancy restaurants. That includes more like casual kind of thing with like a business lunch or something. But yeah, in Spain people just always eat out and take a glass of wine or eat lunch. Like it's not, you don't need any reasons to go out to eat, you know, it's just what you do here in Spain. So, and the food is pretty cheap. Restaurants are pretty cheap. Then we have expenses for phone and internet. Internet will be around 40 euros a month. Now, of course, again, depends on which kind of speed you want and everything. I have a really fast internet and it's 40 euros per month. Then what else we have? So then we have gas and transport. So if you don't have a car, you're gonna use public transport and vice versa. So gas costs, let me check. So gasolina 95 lithium, so around 1.22 euros a liter. that's more or less an average price for 95 in Catalonia. So of course depends, you know, how much you're gonna use your car, how much you're gonna drive. Then we have public transport. So if you're living in a big city, you're gonna use public transportation. So for example, in Barcelona, the monthly card for all kinds of transport, including metro, bus, train, for the area of Barcelona, would cost around 40 euros a month. It is pretty cheap comparing to some other countries in Europe, I think. And also there are discounts if you're a student in Spain or something like that. What else? So I also put memberships as a separate category, yeah, because I think most of us will like go to the gym or like join some kind of activity, right? So I don't know, like yoga classes, dancing classes, or some kind of classes, or just a normal gym membership. Gyms, I think the cheapest would be like some of these European chains. I think the cheapest ones are like 20 euros per month if you subscribe for the whole year. I think that's like the cheapest. I think it's like it exists in most countries in Europe. Like I think it's McFit and these kind of gyms that are really cheap and really basics. So then there are of course more advanced ones or more nice ones with swimming pool and everything. So they already go more expensive. So I think that in average it could be from 30 to 70 euros depending on which kind of classes you're going for. So 30-70 euros a month. I know that's a big difference, but it really depends on like which kind of classes. For example, yoga classes membership would be like around 60-70 euros a month, or dancing classes, but gyms are like more basic and cheaper. That's more or less it. I didn't put entertainment as a separate category because, well, I don't even know what's an entertainment anymore after this year. I don't know what people can do to entertain themselves. Like, like we basically just go to eat out or, you know, go to some classes. At least I don't remember which kind of entertainment we used to do before 2020. But yeah, it's more of like non-essential cost, so I didn't include that. Healthcare is free, so yeah, if you are registered in Spain and you're legal in Spain, you have a residence here, you are going to be assigned to a government medical facility or whatever it's called. It's called CAP in Catalonia. But yeah, it's going to be all for free. Medical system is really good in Spain. I actually just a month ago I did a very detailed check. I did a blood test and I asked for a very specific analysis for like vitamin D and B12 and like really specific things. I had no idea that you could do that for free. Like they gave me all of my analysis, everything was for free, everything was so well organized. So I was really impressed with medical system here. Yeah, very nice, and everything for free. It's amazing. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if I missed anything like super important. I don't think so. So if we calculate more or less all of these things together, apartment, transport, food, sports memberships or memberships, eating out, internet. So all that sums up to around 900 euros per month minimum. And when I say minimum, really minimum, when you don't go out to eat whenever you want, you actually check it up and, you know, stop yourself, you check how much money you have. Actually, it makes a lot of sense because when I was working in Barcelona, I was earning around 950 euros a month, which was quite a low salary, but I was exactly, you know, living exactly to that expense. So I would spend around 900 every month, and I was more or less at zero at that point. And yeah, that was the minimum of money that I ever spent. I couldn't go below that. You could go below 900 if you rent a room instead of renting an apartment, if you like save more and if you like cut more expensive, but that was more or less my minimum for living in Spain. As I said, it depends a lot. It depends if you live with someone. A lot of costs can be shared, and it's actually cheaper to live with someone. You know, if you live with a partner, you can have a nice apartment but share the cost, and that is a big difference than when you live alone. But of course, you can also always go more expensive. If your salary is really good, if you're getting a lot of money, you can live as much as 5,000 a month or even more. You know, it all depends on your situation. But yeah, I hope this gave you an idea, and I hope this video was useful. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comment, and thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.